Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24, and welcome to this week's reporter, James Andre. Good to see you, James. James is just back from Libya, where he's been filming over a 10-day period to discover, essentially, James, if I understand it correctly, signs that stability is coming to this most, well, disturbed of country since 2011 and the fall of Gaddafi. Things have been chaotic, to say the very least. You've witnessed a religious ceremony which perhaps gives a sign stability is coming.
Well, it's maybe more complicated than that, but it was remarkable to actually witness the fact that this ceremony could take place, because indeed, not so long ago, we had heavy fighting on the streets of Tripoli. And when I say not so long ago, that was only last August. So to see people out and about, shopping, leading their lives, is remarkable in itself. But things are still very complicated.
I'm not surprised that things are still complicated. It's Libya after all. James Andre's report coming up here on Reporters.
This is a very special moment for Tripoli's Sufi Muslims. For 4 years, threatened by radical Islamists, they had not been able to celebrate Mawlid al-Nabawi, the birth of the Prophet. A year ago to the day, 2 historic Sufi prayer sites were destroyed. To radicals, the fact that Sufis worship various Islamic saints is a sin.
It is a tradition. To see it stop for so many years broke our hearts.
Tripoli has a long tradition of Sufi Islam, a moderate and mystical branch of the religion.
Those who do not take part in this are foreign to us. Those who do are our brothers. That is the true Libya.
This man filming us with his phone works for the police. His job is to make sure people say the right things to foreign media. The streets are lined with security forces. This year, the authorities have decided to both allow and secure the parade. Prime Minister Sarraj is attending in person.
This holiday has been celebrated for generations. It's our tradition, and I hope we can do it every year.
Despite renewed threats by extremists, the unelected leader of the Western-backed GNA, or Government of National Accord, is keen to show he can have a walkabout in this dense crowd.
They're my people. I'm happy we're together.
Prime Minister Sarraj has come to make one powerful statement. Tripoli is safe.
What happened here today proves that the Libyan people and the residents of Tripoli enjoy peace and safety. People of all walks of life took part in this annual celebration. Things are improving day by day.
Ever since the 2011 revolution that toppled Muammar Gaddafi, Tripoli has been in chaos. The city's Sufi spiritual leader is happy the ceremony could take place, but he resents Prime Minister Sarraj's use of it for political ends.
Fayez Sarraj is a friend, but we cannot bear this situation. We haven't chosen or elected these leaders, whereas the West, its ambassadors and presidents invite them everywhere on the world stage. Now the Libyan people expect free and fair elections, so they can choose who they want, maybe him, or him.
The elections that were supposed to take place in December have just been postponed until the spring of 2019. Fakhri El-Krekshi is a Sufi Muslim and a retired diplomat. He is passionate about the history of his city.
Our cultural heritage is under attack. This is the ancient Ahmed Basha Mosque. Look, it's a good thing I took pictures inside before they destroyed the Sufi Mimbar. And also the Garamali dynasty tombs.
Can we go inside?
Now it's destroyed.
Can you show us?
But there's nothing to see. Besides, I don't want to have any problems with those people.
Tripoli is home to many Sufi places of worship known as zawiyas. Some date back to the 10th century. Fakhri takes us to one that has been converted into a regular mosque. Sufis are threatened by the Islamists who run the most powerful militias.
Here it's not too bad. I see people from our Sufi tradition. But I don't even want to enter some other places. As I told you, since 2011, things have changed. A certain ideology is back in force, one that wants to impose its way of thinking, its ways of practicing religion.
Attacks against zawiyas started right after the revolution in 2011. Since, a dozen have been destroyed.
They have destroyed our zawiya. Men arrived in the night. They leveled it. There's nothing left. The zawiya was 100 years old. Sometimes when I walk on the street, I get scared. I'm afraid I might get killed, abducted, or mugged for my money or my car. The state must first establish security. That's even more important than the economy.
The GNA knows that security is paramount. We are allowed to follow the police for a few hours. They take us on patrol in central Tripoli.
The main challenge for the Interior Ministry is the huge amount of guns in circulation in the country.
The whole operation feels staged.
Today, I'm stopping cars that have no number plates or that have tinted windows.
In fact, Tripoli's stability is only superficial. 4 powerful militias have the real firepower. They vie for control over parts of the city. The last heavy fighting on the streets took place in August. In all, 117 people were killed, 400 wounded, and 25,000 displaced. In September, a fragile ceasefire was brokered by the UN. Still, gunfire rings out every night. This is Libya's new interior minister, Fathi Bashaga. He was one of Misrata's most powerful warlords during the revolution. According to multiple sources, he has influence over the militias. And that's precisely the key to the new security deal, enrolling the militias into the state security apparatus.
Of course, there is a parallel state that runs alongside our administration. All Libyans, armed or unarmed, want security, but that's not going to happen as long as there are guns on the streets. It's clear that these weapons belong to the state, to the army. They are in the hands of citizens who have formed brigades, armed groups, and even militias. These arms must return to state control. We must give people incentive to give them back through an exchange plan, guns for money. Then we must enforce the law.
Money has become a problem in oil-rich Libya. Tripoli residents queue for hours in order to collect a limited sum of cash. 7 years of chaos have given militias plenty of time to infiltrate Libyan institutions, including banks. Today, they run a lucrative scheme, playing the black market. So what's the problem here?
Come on, you know what the problem is. A lack of cash.
No problem. It's become risky to discuss problems with journalists in Tripoli. For several months now, the country has been facing a serious cash shortage. Years of chaos have spawned a powerful black market that pumps liquidities out of the banks and pours them into militias. As a result, there's no money at ATMs, prices have skyrocketed, and tempers are flaring. For how long have you not received money?
3 to 4 months. 4 months, actually.
How do you get by?
We use checks. We buy what we need with checks. If you need to buy food, stationery for school, well, you pay with a check.
So, is that a problem?
It is a problem because the shopkeeper charges 25, 30, sometimes 35% extra when you pay with a check. We're not begging, we just want our salaries.
I just wanted 500 dinars to get by. Just 500 dinars. I started crying inside the bank, and the clerk told me to go cry somewhere else.
500 dinars, roughly 300 euros. After a few minutes, the police arrive and try to intimidate these bank customers.
Why aren't they giving us our money?
Okay, calm down. We are slowly making the situation better. The world wasn't created in one day. It's going to be okay, but you must help us.
Another policeman, in plain clothes, steps into the conversation.
You should just thank God. There is money, there is security, everything is okay. Look, the police is here. Everything is fine. You need to make a good impression, and inshallah, things will be better.
It's crazy. Do they enjoy seeing us here, like this, in this situation? Seriously, we're tired. Sick and tired. The shopkeepers don't want to give credit anymore. I owe the grocer next door a fortune. I can't take it anymore.
In Tripoli, residents are now caught between a fledgling state and militias that are addicted to their own power. These young rappers were just 10 years old when Muammar Gaddafi was killed. They have known nothing but violence.
فديت من كل الناس فديت من ناحياتي ما لقيت حد نشكي في حكاياتي نزلت دمعاتي ما في حد حس بيا متخير شي الدنيا قاعدة تدور زي ما هي الدنيا كست عليا لأن الدنيا عليا فانية نستنى في الموت دقيقة والتانية نشبح فوق ندور في النفوس خيرها مش باينة حتى لما نحب يا تكرهني تطلع خاينة معاش نبي نحب إكرهت كل شي يا أنا نكذب يا الحب تطلع كذاب
The freedom that was conquered during the 2011 uprising appears to have been stifled. Mecca shares his time between high school, odd jobs, and his music.
We have problems. They arrest us because we rap. Why do they do that? Because we use swear words? While they assassinate and kill. We're not insulting God. We're swearing at our problems. Half of the youth are lost. They wander on the streets. They dream of joining militias. They want bullets. They want guns. Why?
We want someone to help us build our future, someone who's interested in Libya's youth, someone who will help instead of building prisons. We knew nothing about guns, and then they appeared in our lives. Now we have to live with them. We hear the gunfire, and then X is dead, and then Y is dead.
A lot of people who have spoken on television, like I'm doing today, have been arrested. So I want to say, if you want to come and get me, I'll be right here in this neighborhood. All those who speak the truth are arrested or intimidated. This is the truth. We want Libya to back us. We want the country to be on our side, always.
For now, the streets of Tripoli are bustling with life again. But chaos is only a gunshot away, in this city that sits on the brink of stability.
A report by James Andre, Julie Dungelhoff and Abdallah Malkawi. James, of course, still with us. And thank you for that real insight into Libya today. I'm just wondering how far off is this stability that Libyans are clearly craving?
Difficult question to answer, because if you take the case of Tripoli itself, as you saw in that report, you have these very powerful militias who are in control of large chunks of that city and who control the banks, who are present in the administrations that you see on, checkpoints, controlling people, controlling cars. You have to hand them passports. Sometimes you wonder who you're handing your passport to. And these people obviously have to, some way or other, be integrated into the future government. And of course, very important, they have to hand those guns back, because that is obviously one of the main difficulties. Now then, if you zoom out to the whole of Libya, as you know, there are two governments vying for power, and normally there should have been some elections that were due by the end of the year. Well, they're not taking place because the headquarters of the Electoral Commission have been destroyed by a terrorist attack. They'll be happening at the beginning of next year. That's what we've been told by the UN. But question mark, how is that going to happen in a country that's so divided?
Indeed, those divisions and those hostilities and that kind of danger which is ever present, it seems, must have made your job, bringing this report to us, all the more difficult.
Yes, it is difficult to work in Libya. First, because you need all sorts of authorizations. When you actually arrive, they give you one of these. This is my Libyan press card, temporary, obviously, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to film everywhere. You see, this man in that screen behind us, he is our minder. He was with us all the time, and we were absolutely not allowed to film anything or to speak to anyone without him being there, listening in and controlling what we were doing. So obviously that means it's extremely difficult to work. We asked authorizations for various other subjects we wanted to cover, and those authorizations were not granted. So you waste a lot of time, you're not working freely, and it is difficult to work. For example, the whole bank scene you see in that report, well, that was very difficult to film indeed.
Indeed, but nonetheless, a real insight into Libya today. James, thank you very much indeed. Thanks to James's colleagues too, Julie and Abdullah, for that report. See it again via our website, france24.com. This is Reporters on France 24. Stay with us.